Hey guys, Michael from Copper vs Glass, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at whether Google Stadia is already dead on arrival. Let's take a look. Now, as you know, if you follow the channel at all, I have done a ton of videos on Google Stadia. Now, for me, it's one of the better streaming platforms out there, but it's not without its flaws. For starters, you can't import any games that you've already got, so if you've got anything through Uplay, the Epic Games Store, Steam, or any other service, you can't play them using Google Stadia. So what that means is you have to go ahead and re-buy games that you may already own, or pay a slight premium for what is on Google Stadia platform. Now, for some reason, the games that are available on Stadia, in my opinion, are a little bit overpriced compared to where you can get them in other places. So you're looking at 60 to 70 or even £80 here in the UK, and Google also likes to push the deluxe and special editions as well, which just racks up the price even more. So with regards to the game selection, you also don't have a ton of games on there. Some of the newer games like Doom Eternal, for example, are available on Stadia, but a lot of it is maybe more indie focused games or some older generation games. They really like to push Destiny 2, for example, which at this point is getting on a bit. So just to give you a quick example, I've got my screen recording here of my OnePlus 7T with the Stadia application, so we're just going to have a quick look through to see what's available and what kind of prices you could expect to pay. So if we just go to the new release section, this is going to be the newest games available on Stadia, not necessarily the newest in terms of release date. So you can see here we've got, for example, Dead by Daylight, you've got the gold edition there above the normal edition. Yes, okay, £17 isn't too bad, but again, it's not a brand new game. Serious Sam 4, however, is a brand new game that's available, but again, that's more of a budget title anyway, so this price falls in line with where you're going to find it in other places. And if we also head back to the best sellers list, for example, if we just go to, let's have a look here, where's the best sellers list? See, the app itself also isn't necessarily amazing. We've got featured, bundles, and okay, there's no best sellers list. So let's just go to all games for a second. So again, once you go into the all games section, the application itself isn't also the fastest out there, which again is a little bit disappointing. So you've got games like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you've got one here for $54.99 or $79.99 if you want the Stadia Ultimate Edition. Borderlands 3 coming in at around £50, you get the Deluxe Edition or the Super Deluxe Edition for £90. So again, in regards to price-wise, it's not necessarily the best out there like I've mentioned. Now you can also get some of the newer games like Doom Eternal, for example, for around £50 or around $74 for again the Deluxe Edition. So again, in terms of price-wise, I actually think you pay a little bit of a premium on Stadia's platform. Now that may be just down to the fact that Google Stadia is a brand new platform. They need to make as much money as they can really quickly so that it becomes a viable service for Google to continue to support. But that's not really the main thing that's killing Google Stadia. So first off, Google had their event not too long ago, around a week ago now, where they unveiled the new line of Pixel devices, some new Chromecast, and also the new Nest Audio, and the new Chromecast that they've got coming out that supports Android TV and Google TV and all these awesome new services doesn't support Stadia at launch. Now yes, that may be because they've had some issues to get it work on the new Chromecast, but keep in mind that it's been on the Chromecast Ultra pretty much since it came out. And also with that, the Chromecast Ultra is now discontinued, so for the meantime, you can't actually buy a brand new piece of hardware from Google that supports Stadia. Now, don't get me wrong, Google Stadia will probably come at a later date for the new Chromecasts, but again, if it's something that you want to have at launch or you're invested in the Stadia platform, you can't play your games on your TV with your brand new 2020 Chromecast. Another thing that I think is really hurting Stadia is the actual player numbers. Now, I couldn't really find out how many players have actually gone on Stadia. If you go onto the Play Store, for example, it says it's got over 1 million downloads, but I don't for one second think that's any reflection on the amount of people that are actually playing on a daily basis. Now, what I was able to find was the player numbers for Destiny 2. Now again, this is an older game, but Google is pushing it very hard, so it's probably the game that most people are going to start out playing once they get Stadia. And to put it into some context, in around April 2020 when Google Stadia went live for everybody and came out of beta, you had around 60,000 players on the PlayStation Network playing Destiny. Now you also had around 100,000 players on the Xbox platform, and with just using Steam, over 120,000 players. And how many were on Stadia? Well, it seems a lot, but when you compare it to the rest, it's not really that good. You had around 16,000 concurrent players at any one time. Now keep in mind that's after it came out of beta and everyone was able to play it. Before April you had around 5,000 players on Destiny on the Stadia platform. So overall the player numbers in my opinion just aren't really there to make it a viable platform. Now again, you do have other services like GeForce Now from Nvidia and Project xCloud from Microsoft, and you also get some extra features while using those specific platforms. With the Nvidia GeForce Now, for example, you can stream games sometimes using RTX graphics, and if using Microsoft streaming platform, you also have access to Game Pass included in the bundle. Now I've also done a recent video on Shadow, and that not only lets you play your own games using your own login information, but it also gives you a full high-powered Windows PC to use, all within that monthly cost. And what do you get with that monthly cost for Google Stadia? Well, you're going to be paying around $8.99 per month. Now compare that to something like the Game Pass, for example. For a similar sort of price, you're going to get access to hundreds of games from Microsoft, plus also brand new titles that are going to be available. The new Halo, for example, will be available on Game Pass on day one. Now for that same $8.99 on Google Stadia, yes, you do get some discounts with the Pro version, and also some free games every now and then, but again, these games just aren't the newest games available, again, Destiny 2 being one of them, so it's not really the best value for money. Now you also need to pay $8.99 per month to play those games in 4K, but without the new Chromecast Ultra or the brand new 2020 Chromecast, I'm not too sure how you're going to do that on your TV anyway. Now keep in mind guys that Google hasn't actually put out any sort of official statement as to whether they are ramping down anything to do with Stadia, but going on some of their previous things that they've brought out, it wouldn't surprise me if it doesn't survive the next year. And that really is a shame, because if you are in that Google or Android ecosystem, having to play games on Google Stadia isn't the worst thing out there, and like I mentioned, the actual streaming itself isn't too bad overall. It's actually some of the better visuals that I've seen when it comes to streaming. But now I want to know from you guys in the comments section down below if you're using Stadia and how it has been for you, or if you're using any other streaming platform. Let me know in the comments section below, and I'll be sure to have a conversation with some of you guys in regards to what you're currently using or what you think of Google Stadia in general. If you've got any questions or comments, let me know in the comments below as well, or on Twitter at Copper vs Glass. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you're not already subscribed, now's a great time to do so, and once you're subscribed, turn on notifications so you're notified anytime I post a new video here on the channel. I'm Michael from Copper vs Glass. Thanks very much for watching, and as always, I will catch you guys in the next video.